Yeah, you have a great way of explaining asynchronous versus synchronous, Michael. I've heard you say it. It's almost like waiting for a train to come, I think,
Yeah.
and then having to get on the train. Maybe you can explain it better than me, because I think it's an important point. But the first time I actually understand it was by listening to you explain it. So, what is your analogy to maybe waiting for a train versus maybe leaving right
Yeah.
away and asynchronous technology?
Yeah, I think kind of using analogies is a great way to kind of explain the difference and help people kind of understand like how one system can be faster than the other because there's a lot of technical aspects as to like how like the phantom underlying technology works, but we want to like kind of keep it a bit, like kind of like make it as straightforward as possible for people to understand. So, using a train analogy, say you have like a system like Ethereum. Well, say that you're like a person, your transaction. So you enter the train station and you have to join a single line queue. So the person ahead of you is someone who has either like paid a bit more money to be in the queue ahead of you, or they just happen to like be entered. They just happen to have come to the train station a bit earlier than you, right? And so it's a single line. It's one person after the other. There's a person in front of you. There's a person behind you, etc. And you have to wait, say, like 15 seconds for your train to arrive. So, after 15 seconds, the train arrives on average, and sometimes it can be a bit shorter than that, sometimes it can be a bit longer than that, so it's a bit unpredictable, but on average, like say 15 seconds, right? And then the train arrives, which is basically the equivalent of your block that gets mined, right? And so one transaction at a time enters into that block, and maybe, the train carriage is full, right? And the train carriage is full. That's too bad. You have to wait for the next block to arrive and another 15 seconds. And so, you could be waiting more than just like one block, but the fastest that you can get processed is, you enter into the next block that gets mined, right? And so you enter into that block, and then you're off your way to be confirmed by the network. And then not only that, but then you have to wait for like five or six other like trains to arrive and to basically like come after you in order to make sure that you really do arrive at the other station in the end, because it's based on this principle of the longest chain rule that you can't just rely on like you being included in one block. You have to make sure that other blocks come after you as well. So it's like you enter into the train, you arrive at another station, but you can't get out quite yet. You have to wait for like five or six other trains to also arrive behind you before you can make sure you can get off at the station, which sounds a bit crooked, right? But that you can see that kind of makes the process a bit slow. We're saying asynchronous technology on like with Phantom, it's like as soon as you enter a train station, there's a train that automatically arrives just for you and the other people that arrive around the same time that you arrive, right? And as you go straight into the train, and then you get driven straight to the station, and there's no waiting for other blocks or other transactions to arrive. As soon as you enter the train station, you can get out, and then you're part of the network now, right? In other words, it's kind of like a train on demand. There's no waiting for blocks to be mined or anything like that. Blocks automatically get generated depending on network demand. So the more network demand there is at a particular point in time, the more blocks and the increase in the frequency of blocks that get produced by the network. So I don't know if I exactly explained the analogy well, but in that sort of analogy, obviously when you're not waiting in a queue and you automatically go into a train, it's a lot faster than if you have to wait in a queue where you might not even be able to get into the next train because it gets full. So, with one system and where you get processed automatically, I hope people can kind of understand that that would make things a lot faster. And so that is essentially how the Phantom technology works and what makes it very different from, say, Ethereum. That's really the core of it.